Hey guys, welcome to my first ever education video on the education channel, guys. I'm doing these videos now because I'm actually recently starting to get homeschooled, and this is a great way to do my project for homeschooling in a creative way. In today's lesson, we'll learn what a chord is, what a perpendicular bisector is, how to calculate the radius of diameter with variables, and calculating the diameter of a firework shell. What is a chord? A chord is a line segment connecting 2 points on a curve. In this image, the red line would be the chord connecting A and B. What is a perpendicular bisector? A perpendicular bisector is a line which cuts a line segment into 2 equal parts of 90 degrees. In this example, the green line is the perpendicular bisector because it is cutting or bisecting the chord perpendicularly. And this would be your 90-degree parts that it is cutting it to. You could also extend this line all the way down here, but for our example today, we're not going to be doing that. Okay, now we're going to be calculating the radius and diameter of this circle. Now, if we go and we note that this center point to anywhere on the outside of the circle is obviously the radius. So if I pull this along here, out to here, that is the radius. Also, same here, I pull that out, that is also the radius. However, because we've got the perpendicular bisector here, this is the radius, here, this whole line, and this line is actually the radius minus b. So that's radius minus b. Okay guys, we're going to be putting everything that's here into the Pythagoras theorem. So we're going to start all the way up here just to make sure we have enough space. We're going to go r minus b squared plus h squared, which h, man, this too, h is there, equals r squared. Now guys, we know that r minus b squared is r minus b times r minus b. Okay? So sorry about my scuffed writing. And then obviously we still got to put the plus h squared on the end. We can't avoid that. Equals r squared. Okay, so next we're going to use the FOIL method to multiply these two brackets with each other. So we're going to start with the f, which is firsts, and that's going to start off as r square. And next we're going to go with the o, which is minus rb. And next the I, which is minus br. And next we're going to go with the L, which is plus b squared. Now, of course, always going to have to put that h at the back and also the r squared. I've never realized how hard it is to write with a mouse, by the way. So this is our, what we get after that. So you're now going to notice that we have the r squared on both sides, meaning we can take that out, minus that out, meaning that just fully gets crossed out there. Also, for this next step, we can also combine RB and BR together because they're the same thing, just in a different order, meaning we can also make that 2RB. So we're going to start off by going 2RB because of these two combined together, plus B squared plus H squared equals 0. Now the reason why this equals 0 is because we've just taken off this r squared here. So this actually has nothing on the other side. That equals 0. I forgot to put a negative here, and I've accidentally just changed the color. So I forgot to put a negative here, but there, that goes a negative. And now because I want this to be a positive, I'm going to have to add 2rb to both sides. 2RB to both sides, and that's going to make this cancel out, meaning we go straight to B. Man, why do I keep on changing my color? Which means we go straight to B squared plus H squared. Just notice I've missed the squared up there. B squared plus H squared equals 2RB. And that's what we've got now. And next we're going to have to do, so we want to get only the R, which is the radius. So we want to get rid of this 2 and B. So we're going to divide everything. We're going to divide both sides by 2B. And that is going to leave us with a fraction result. The bottom is going to be, no, the top is going to be B squared plus H squared. And the bottom is going to be 2B. And that's going to equal R. So that's the answer to what the radius is. The radius equals B squared plus H squared divided by 2B. Now, obviously, this is only with variables. This will make a lot more sense when we go into our real-life example with actual numbers. So let's jump right into that example with numbers. Okay, guys, so now for our real-life measurements with real numbers. I have gathered this piece of a firework shell from when it fell on my head whilst I was watching a firework display on New Year's Eve. So this actually fell on my head, and we're going to be able to use the chord along with the perpendicular bisector to measure approximate of how big approximately this shell was. Okay. So what we're going to do is you can do this with any piece of cardboard. Just fold this so that you get a little crease in here at halfway. You fold it halfway and you get a crease. And then what you can do is you don't even need to use the whole shell. Just make sure that it's at least how big you want it to be. And then you got this. You got to kind of hold it up. And then you grab your, preferably a paper measuring tape, which is why stealing your local IKEA's measuring tape is optimal. You grab this and you get it right up to the crease. And we can see here that it's about... Hang on, I need to get the 0 all the way down to the floor. It's about 7-ish, 6 to 7 centimeters. Millimeters, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 7 millimeters, and we've also got to measure the length of this, which this is going to be our chord. This is going to be the length of our chord, and this was the length, the 7 millimeters is the length of our perpendicular bisector. And so the chord is about 74 millimeters. So we've got a chord of 74 millimeters and a perpendicular bisector of 7 millimeters. Okay, guys, let's put in the numbers that we just measured. So that means that we need to put here 74, and here we need to put 7, and here we need to put 7. So then we need to work out what H is going to be now. So H is half of 74, meaning that H is 37. So we'll put that to 37 on both sides. So that's our dimensions for the small piece of the firework shell that we have. Now we can actually use the formula that we worked out with the variables to find out how big this firework shell is without having to do all of the big long maths again. Now of course we could, but that's impractical. So we're going to write down that formula right here. R equals, that is the wonkiest fraction line ever, B squared plus H squared divided by 2B. So that's the formula that we had before. And the first thing we're going to have to do is put these numbers from the firework shell into this formula. So B is your green line, and that's going to be 7 squared. And your H is going to be 37, of course, squared. Now on the bottom we have to have 2 times the equivalent of b. So we're going to go 2 times 7, which is the equivalent of b. So that's what we've got here. Now if we work this out, that equals out to 49 plus the square of 37 is 1,369. Yeah. And then we also have to put that over what 2 times 7 equals, which is 14. Now, if we add that together, that means that this equals 1,418 over 14. Now, if we ask Google what that equals. Okay, Google, what's 1,418 divided by 14? Okay, so the answer would be approximately. So the answer to this would be approximately, look at my beautiful approximate lines, 101.29. Oops. And that's what r equals. Now we obviously call that's the radius. Now to work like with firework shells, you talk in diameter. So you want to figure out what the diameter is. It's not that hard. It's just times 2, and then so diameter is always radius times 2, and that will equal up to 202.58. And for some reason these numbers keep on taking up my point. Now this isn't the complete, well, this is now 202.58 millimeters. Now the diameter of a firework shell is measured in inches, so to get the inch of how big the firework shell is, we're going to ask Google again. Okay, Google, how many inches is 202.58 millimeters? That's not the question I asked. Okay, Google, how many inches is 202.58 millimeters? Okay, so it's 7.796 inches. Now, that is not how big a firework shell is. We're going to round that, so that's an approximate. We're going to round that to 8. Our firework shell is 8 inches. And honestly, I used a piece of paper and like the most sketchiest measurements in the world to figure this out, and we got pretty close. So that's how you figure out the diameter of a circle of any type, or a sphere of any type, a circle of any type. And I used a firework shell as an example. So guys, I hope you got something from this video. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe. Turn on post notifications for more educational videos in the future. I hope you have a nice rest of your day. I'm out.